Welcome back, Suzanne.
Talking about someone else, Alderman Talley, but. Obstructions and excavations in the right-of-way, amending Chapter 11, and I see Kayla's here if you wanted to share anything. I know we had a discussion, and it was pretty much cleaning up, getting in alignment with the state requirements, but please add.
Sure. So this draft ordinance will clean up the way that the city handles privileges in the right-of-way. So a privilege is basically anytime, if you look down Greenfield's a great example, you see an awning or a sign or something that sticks out over the sidewalk, that's technically right-of-way, but it's private property in the right-of-way. So anytime someone does that, they need to get a privilege. It's called encroachment in some places. Sometimes it's called an obstruction permit. Places call it all kinds of things. The state law calls it a privilege. The issue we have right now with our code is that, and I'm not sure why, but we have various descriptions for this. So we have like newspaper boxes, sprinklers, dumping of materials. We have these like little special permits that have different standards for issuance, different standards for bonding, insurance. It's kind of all over the board. Plus, it's based upon this sort of interesting description of major, minor, and structural encroachments. Plus, it was delegating them to either the city engineer, the Board of Public Works, this group, or the Common Council. And the way the state law works is you basically have to comply with what the state says, and the way we were doing it is not perfectly in line with what the state says we should be doing. So what this draft will do is it will change things around so that if it's a permanent thing over 90 days in existence, it has to come before the council by state law. There's no more minimal or minor structural or major distinction. It's just, is it a permanent thing or not? It comes before the council. If it's less than 90 days, the city engineer handles it and the council doesn't see that. The idea of putting a bond in place to guarantee that there's some money in case something goes wrong is optional for both the city engineer and the council. Insurance is also optional depending on the circumstances. So if the council adopts this ordinance, the way I see it happening in the future is you'll get recommendations for permanent obstructions in the right-of-way with a bonding or insurance requirement based upon the recommendation from the city engineer. It's a way for us to create not only consistency internally among all the people who occupy the right-of-way, but also consistency with the state statutes. It also removes all these special little permits that are out there and just consolidates them into one thing. It's an easy question now. If someone comes to the city and says, hey, I want to build something over the sidewalk, what do I do? It's a very quick, simple, easy answer, and the person fills out the same form everyone else does for the same thing. So it cleans that up and I think makes it a lot more user-friendly, easier to explain, and complies with state law.
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Grisham.
Cale, this is just for permanent structures of encroachment and right-of-way. It's not anything to do with extension of use, how we utilize our sidewalks, things like that. Would it be like a park bench, for example?
It does. It impacts everything. So the way it works is rather than this major, minor structural and then ignoring it for certain things and applying it in other ways, if it's less than 90 days, then they can occupy it as long as they get a temporary occupancy permit from the city engineer.
Okay.
So, for example, if someone wants to occupy a sidewalk, you're talking like extension of license, maybe? Mm-hmm. Something like that?
Yes.
So if someone wants to put tables and chairs out on a sidewalk right now, if they're doing it for less than 90 days, they can go to the city engineer and just get be a temporary occupancy permit for that purpose. If they want to serve alcohol, they have to actually extend their license with the License and Health Committee. If they want to do it longer than 90 days, then they're just going to come to the License and Health Committee anyway, likely, because that's where they can get extension of license. And in that process, the council can grant a privilege for longer. The biggest thing is we were signing these agreements with people in the past where it wasn't also lining up with what state law says. The concept of occupying the right-of-way is a privilege. It's all it is. There's no rights guaranteed there. The city can revoke it for any reason at any point in time, and I want to make it very clear in the code that that's the case. So I just want to make sure that we weren't creating any type of contractual obligation for the city under our current process either.
Okay, and this could be something as simple as a sandwich board is considered being placed out.
Yes, that'd be an obstruction.
Okay, all right, thank you.
But if it's less than 90 days, the engineer can issue a permit for that.
Okay.
I'll move for approval, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 14, Resolution 2022-0323, resolution approving an agreement with the Milwaukee Metropolitan Sewage District to receive $110,183.78 in funding through the MMSD Green Solutions Program for the installation of green infrastructure on South 66th Street
Move to
and
approve.
South.
Second.
Okay. Is there, okay, it's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 15, Resolution 2022-0324, resolution approving an agreement with the Metropolitan Milwaukee Sewage District to receive $22,200 in funding through the MMSD Green
Move to
Solutions.
approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Glad you showed up tonight, Rob. Item 16, Resolution 2022-0335, resolution to approve bid of Lalonde Contractors Incorporated for street construction in West Madison Street from 58th Street to 60th Street and 57th Street from West Burnham to West Mobile Street in the city of West Dallas in the amount of $1,665,753.47.
Move for approval, Mr. Chair.
It's been moved and seconded.
It's
Any
about,
discussion?
it's about time. It's 57th Street, it's pretty
Okay.
bad shape.
That was the explanation, huh?
Yeah. That's the
It's
reason.
in bad shape.
That's the reason.
There we go.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and that was our discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 17, Resolution 2022-0336, resolution to approve bid of Lalonde Contractors Incorporated.
Move
Or-
to approve.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah, that's my district, and it's in rough shape. Just kidding. No, thank you.
Sounds like they're going to start work on Vincent's first.
Yes.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? That was it. So all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And we jump to item 18, Resolution 2022-0337, resolution amending the existing professional services contract with Acom Technical Services, Inc. to provide consulting services relative to Wisconsin Administrative Code NR 216 stormwater permit compliance requirements for 2022 for an additional sum not to exceed $31,800.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And item 19 is a discussion item tonight. Discussion regarding municipal yard and Morgan of operation. And I will turn it over to Public Works Director Dave Webking.
So currently, the Department of Public Works provides two drop-off locations, the McHugh drop-off site on 6300 West McHugh, and then the Morgan drop-off site on 116th and Morgan. We currently provide 6 days of service out of a week. That's consistent with other municipalities, New Berlin and Franklin. The survey attachment that I did send via an email, there's about 5 to 6 other municipalities that provide 1 to 2 or 3 dates of service for a drop-off site. What's unique about the city of West Dallas and the city of Milwaukee, we do provide 2 locations for our patrons. The hours of service varies for each location because of the seasonal demand of each. But the McHugh site is Monday from 7:30 to 2:30, Tuesday through Friday, 7:30 to 3, and then Wednesday it extends to the evening to 5 p.m. Saturday, it's 8 to 3:30. Now, the Morgan drop-off site has similar hours. On Monday, it's 7:30 to 2:30, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, it's 7:30 a.m., and we extend it all the way to 7 p.m. in the evening. And then Saturday, it's consistent with McGee. So what I am proposing is, it is required to have staff at these locations. At the McGee site, we have normal staffing from Tuesday through Saturday. And those 2 staff members are assigned. That's their job, to assist patrons to administer fees, also to change out any type of container, that sort of thing. On Mondays, so they work Tuesday through Saturday, that's their normal shift. Mondays, we need to extract Rob from other divisions to provide coverage. So given the number of vacancies that we have in the sanitation street division, I'm recommending at a minimum, at least, if we would consider closing municipal yard drop-off center on Mondays. There before you is the actual count of patrons that ranges from 70 to 90 to 100 patrons that use it on a daily basis. At times, depending on the weather, Saturdays can range from 150 to 500 people. So we do provide that weekend at the location, but also at the Morgan drop-off site. The Morgan drop-off site, we usually staff that with seasonal help. At this time, we requested 25 seasonals for our forestry facilities and street divisions, and we have about 4 interested applicants out of 25. So therefore, we're looking at a minimum to close the Morgan drop-off site on Monday as well, and kind of consider it in the future that we'll kind of reevaluate, depending on if we can get any seasonal help, to staff the Morgan drop-off site. Because as you're aware, it's open till 7:30 till 7 p.m. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Otherwise, we'll have to use regular staff and overtime potential to cover those hours of service. So that's kind of what I'm proposing, at a minimum, Mondays at both locations to close it. And if it is somewhat favorable to the committee, I would coordinate those efforts with the communication and get that out on social media.
Mr. Chair,
Alderman Grisham.
I have a couple concerns with a closure on a Monday. I know that would be traditionally something that we would think would be the least busy of days, because that's the start of the work week. However, my concerns would be with those that work on Saturdays and can't make it to the drop-off. And obviously, we're closed on Sunday. That Monday would be the next available alternative to that weekend. That would be my largest concern. And if we have those many visitors, that number of visitors on a Saturday, would it be beneficial to close Monday? I know staffing issues are a concern, but has that been taken into consideration? Those that aren't using the dump might use streets or other things to get rid of things that they need to get rid of.
Well, we do provide for other dates throughout
Okay.
the week. So I guess I would recommend that in lieu of Monday, they deposit their materials. You know, if it's yard waste or brush, they can go to Morgan drop-off site, which is opening Memorial Day to Labor Day. They could deposit there, or at the McGee site, they would just have to delay it for 1 day.
Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Alderman Vitale.
Yeah, the fact it is that the McGee site Monday, really, because there's more patrons, really goes to the drop-off site on Saturday and on and on. I think that Saturday is very, very busy. On Monday, because I drive by there many times, I don't see much traffic really. people dropping off their yard waste or anything else, really. So to me, I think one day, well, people just like anything else, we gotta learn how to
You gotta adjust.
make some changes sometime, really. I don't see nothing wrong with that because the percentage is much farther down on Monday. So to me, it makes sense to really close it, from my opinion, so I don't know.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
would this be something that we could pilot
Sure.
and see how that looks, especially as we are entering spring and the let's clean out our garage seasons?
Yeah, we could.
We could really get some data and see how that looks.
Sure. I would be willing to do that. In both cases, if it's working out at the McHugh site, but also at the Morgan drop-off site to see what the demand is there. I do have some estimates from 2021
Okay.
with the frequency of use there as well. So depending, then I can report back and indicate what we have for staffing, but also what the demand is. But would you be willing to consider then Mondays?
Yeah, I think if we pilot it, I think that would make most sense because then nothing's set in stone. We can visit it, and also you can also collect that data as far as how much more trash is being set out that you're having to write tags on and things like that people are just trying to dump and get rid of.
Sure. Yeah. And again, this is raised due to just trying to find staff to staff the hours. So
Yeah, I know it has not been easy for your department.
Mr. Chair,
I saw her first.
Yep, that's fine.
Alderman Ranky.
basically, I have no problem with closing those two sites on a Monday due to the lack of employees to fill that position. Anyway, the employees are being used elsewhere, collecting garbage and whatever else,
correct. Yeah. Street maintenance.
where you need them.
asphalting,
So I have no problem. In fact, I thank you basically for suggesting something like this in light of the need for more employees. Basically, you have indicated through charts of other communities, and we are far above any other communities with the hours that we are making available to our constituents. I see no reason, in fact, why we can't limit some of the hours. I mean, 7:30 in the morning, are there a lot of people that come 7:30 in the morning to unload their garbage?
It depends on the site, but you'll be surprised on McHugh Avenue, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
I see.
and a credit to the patrons. They use the site. On Morgan drop-off site, after 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., it gets rather slow. It's an average here about 5 to 6 patrons, between that time frame. So that's, again, during the pilot, we can report back to you folks, the committee, and, again, kind of show the pros and cons of the times and the days that we are open, if we need to, if there's demand there, to leave it open, or, again, if
Well, I think they can be adjusted. I mean, there are some communities that aren't open until 11 to 4, I noticed.
correct, yeah.
So I think it needs to be looked at. The schedule needs definitely to be looked at in light of our need for more employees.
Sure.
Mr. Chair,
He's next. Alderman Stefanski.
sorry about
Yeah, I have no problem with you closing on Mondays. And anything we can do to avoid having to do any overtime, I'm all for it.
Alderman Talley.
Yeah, many of the Western community, I know that for a fact, really, they're not even 5 days or 6 days period. A lot of times they close even 2 days a week, really, for people, they wish to drop off their yard waste or whatever, concrete or whatever it is. So to me, I mean, people get accustomed sometimes that's something we have to do, really. I mean, we talk about capital cost and everything else. So to me, that's something that makes sense, to exploring, Fine, we can use a pilot for now, but I'm for Monday closure, really, both sides.
What would determine whether the pilot is successful or not? Because on Martin Luther King Day, we pretty much knew at noon that it wasn't successful.
It would be the, I guess, the number of reports or occurrences.
That we
of
get.
Individuals.
Okay.
But also staffing, that we're allowed to use those individuals. There is going to be complaints, but again, we do offer 5 other days for the individuals to deposit whatever materials in. Sometimes it's just getting used to that difference of service. And we are still providing evening hours, especially at the Morgan drop-off site, which again, with the pilot, I would consider looking at that with the frequency. We have preliminary numbers, as I mentioned, from 3 to 7. It's an average of 5 people. And that's something that I'd like to report back. And is it wise to continue to staff those locations given that type of, frequency of patrons using that site?
Yeah.
So with the pilot, I guess the question I have to the committee is I can get back regarding the McGill Avenue in 1 month's time. The Morgan drop-off site starts after Memorial Day. So you have to give that at least for 1 month, I would think.
Mr. Chair, may I recommend then, if that's the case, that we go to June 1st and a report back? And just for the record, for colleagues to understand, doing a pilot also gives our constituent and our tax base an understanding that we're not just jumping in. Understandably so, we're in a structural deficit situation, and changes are going to have to be made, and tough ones at that. But as far as my constituents, I'd like them to know that we're actually looking at this thoughtfully and not just making a rash decision that does impact them. And Mondays may not seem like a big deal, and I'm pretty confident it's not going to be a big deal. But I think going into a pilot and getting that data and that feedback is valuable, at least on our end, to explain to our constituents why these changes have had to be made.
Okay. Are there cameras at Morgan Avenue?
Yes, it is. We do have cameras there.
And you know where I'm going, because there's, like, the Tuesday gang is going to just have a whole pile of brush when they show up.
Yep, it's adequately covered. We
Okay.
worked with the IT staff, and they've helped us where
Okay.
they've all been upgraded, and even
Thank you.
at the McGill site as well.
Okay, so the desire or wishes of this is to
Yeah.
listen to Vince one more time?
Yes,
Alderman
thank
Vitale?
you, thank you. So, Dave, you mentioned that the IT department will be informed, right? In regard to
The
communications, I mean, yeah.
Since this is going to be an immediate closure.
So if we start, like I say, in 2 weeks, what would be the problem? I mean, to put informations out there, say next week or this week?
Yeah,
When do you wanna start?
Probably in 1 week.
So next Monday, you're closed.
Yeah, I will give the rest of this week
To me, decisions has to be made for the benefits of everyone, I mean, the way I look at it. To me, I mean, I agree with the pilot program to see what's going on, but to me, I think that's a determination by the staff, from the Public Works Department. I believe, like I said, I can attest to that because I drive by there quite a time on Monday, and I don't see much really thing going on, But if you go any other days, there is more activities going on, and particularly on Saturday, So I'm making a motion to start closing the city yard on McGeach and the 116 Street site starting a week from now or 2 weeks from now.
Is a motion required? This is discussion.
Yeah, this is a discussion item, so how do we act on it?
Well,
Chair.
We're discussing.
go ahead. Gil.
So technically, because Director Webking is the one in charge of administering the rules and operating this facility, this is more of a way of engaging the council's interest and opinions and trying to incorporate them into a solution. But ultimately, it's Dave that has to make that call. It's an executive branch decision as far as hours and balancing the budget and staffing. So the council doesn't have to make any official motions or anything like that. This is just the director coming to you to get your opinions. So
we don't need a motion?
No motion is necessary.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you, Dave.
Yeah,
Okay.
thanks for your input.
But we can have consensus. I believe we can.
Right, and I think he.
That's basically, that's what we need. That's it. Okay.
Mr. Chair, I expect that if had he come to talk to you about this and there were massive, arguments or opposition or objection to it, then the discussion would have shifted to, well, I have a budget and staffing issue, let's try to solve it right now. So that's more the reason that this item is before the council.
Okay. Thank you, Kel.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved to second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I like that.
Okay, License and Health is
All right, License and Health Committee come to order. All the members are present. So we start with the item 22, 0-2022, 0079, ordinance amend dangerous dog procedure, adopt rabies control programs. So I believe the ordinance was sponsored by Alderperson Christian and Keene.
correct. And Mr. Chair, if I may
Go ahead.
defer to Attorney Decker to kind of give a quick synopsis of what the changes will be to that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure. The changes to the dangerous dog procedures really are not substantive. It's just updating some of the language that has outdated and instead allowing a little more flexibility for getting that procedure going online and cleaning up some unclear language. But nothing substantive is suggested to be changing that. The rabies control program is actually a state law that the city had not adopted yet. And so if we wanted to enforce it, we'd actually just send those citations to the circuit court downtown. And so this just gives us a chance to enforce the rabies control program and quarantines and things like that locally through our own municipal court. So it's more just a way of adopting an existing state law and getting local control over it.
Yeah, I would like to ask, how's the, Rebecca, the percentage of people they buy license for their dog that takes, the percentage, we don't know. I mean, many people don't really register their pets, right? Their dogs.
I think there's a higher percentage of dogs that are licensed than cats. However, when we were promoting the fact that people could license online this year, it was news to a lot of people that they even had to get a separate license. A lot of people confuse the rabies certificate with the actual license.
Okay.
So I don't have a number.
Well,
I just have
that's-
some.
But we're doing pretty good in a way, right? All right. Okay, any motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The aye have it. So we move on to item 23.
Mr. Chair, I believe we're going to hold this item till our next meeting.
Which one? The
Item 23. Do I need to make a motion to hold?
well, that's up to you if you want to
I
hold
will,
it.
well, we'll make a motion to hold to our next meeting.
Second.
We were supposed to have a presenter this evening, and she cannot attend.
She couldn't come.
No.
That's first time for her.
Well, no, it's nothing like that. She's not required to come.
No, I'm just kidding you. That's all.
She's got rabies.
She has rabies.
I'm just kidding you.
Point of order.
That's a joke.
Point of order. Let's move along.
That's all. That's a real good laugh anyway.
All right.
All right. Yeah, we can hold that one.
Okay, thank you.
But I figured you'd like that
Item
one.
24, please.
All right. So we move on to item 24, 2022-0462, Class B Tavern Seasonal Temporary Premises Extension and a Temporary Public Entertainment Premises Request for Riviera of Wisconsin, DBA Riviera Lane, 8600 West Cliffville Avenue from May 1st, 2022, November 1st, 2022, temporary 22-4. So the person is here,
Do we have a representative from Riviera here?
no representatives, eh?
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I didn't see a map. Did I miss it online?
We
I
received
could have.
additional information.
I'm sorry, what?
Sorry, we received additional information from him regarding that. I don't know if that was shared with you or not, but
Well, I didn't see it in the agenda packet.
you have having some challenges with that this week. but-
Oh, okay.
It worked fine for me.
Mr. Chair, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
Rebecca, all of these applicants, they are told that they would they need to appear, correct? Okay, just wanted to follow up on that.
Yeah, 25, 26.
So we would need a motion or a decision on this. Would we give grace and hold for one meeting?
I'd like to bring him in.
Yeah.
Okay. Then-
I'd like to know where they're doing
Which
it.
one? I want to see who's here from that we have on records here. I mean,
Well,
let's
no
finish.
one's here. They're not.
Yeah, they're not
There's
here.
not a representative here.
The bowling
no,
alley.
I mean a representative for the item 24. I know that.
Nobody's
Right,
here.
so will
Okay.
we hold that item till the next
it's up to you guys. You
meeting
wanna hold it, we
and
can hold
notify
it.
the
Motion to
applicant to
hold.
appear? Okay, second.
All in favor of the motion to hold it?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The aye have it.
Now, if
So-
you want to ask who's here for these
Yeah.
licenses.
Correct.
Is, for any chance, Carol Ritz here?
Ruiz?
Come in. See, did I say it right?
Ruiz.
And Chairman Vitale, for records purpose, do you want to read out the item?
Yeah, I will, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, 25, 2021, 2023, new operator, bartender, Class D operator, application for Carol Ritz, bartender 7-1, did not appear at 419 License and Health meeting. The reason why? He didn't appear to the last couple of times,
There's only once.
Yeah.
only once.
This is my first time appearing here. Is that what? Wait.
Is it first time?
Yes, this is my first time.
Ms. Ruiz, if I may, you were on the agenda for the last meeting, and
Yeah,
you
you
did
were
not
at the
appear, so
agenda
that was
last
the
meeting.
question. He wanted to know why you weren't here.
Apologize. I never received anything. This is the
You never
first-
did.
This is,
How can it be normal? Everybody receipts the notices, you know?
this is the first notice.
Yes.
I believe she's here because of the items on our police report, and Nick
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
summarized that.
Correct. And Mr. Chair, if I may lead, Ms. Ruiz, there are some concerns on your record, and the reason that you are asked to appear is to offer some insight to the council before we would issue a operator's license for a bartender Class D. One of the questions that we asked based on your history is what measures of rehabilitation have you taken since those charges on your record?
In 2019, I got DUI. I completed all my courses. I got assessed through Impact, and I completed my dynamics group class. That was that they wanted me to do. I completed everything, and I have not had anything else on my record since then.
Good
That's
to
the only
hear.
item, the only thing, right?
Okay. And secondly, do you have a driver's license currently? Okay. With that being said, I have no questions. I would make a motion to approve. If
Second.
anyone else
Mr.
has
Chair?
any questions.
Yes.
Where do you plan on working if you get your license?
Well, Camino, that's where I first applied, and he wanted to wait until I got my license. And I was also looking at JD's on 63rd and Lincoln. And I also have my City of Greenfield license, working at the Corner Club.
I see.
You
Are
say
you allowed to
50,
drink?
54 or 57?
63rd, she
Are
said.
you allowed to drink at any of these bars?
I don't drink at any of the bars.
I see. Okay. You have one OWI though, right?
Yes, I do.
Circumstances? Are we allowed to ask that?
I mean, your question, I think, is, did you get that driving home from work? Is that what you're asking?
Okay.
Is that what you're? I'm trying to connect the prior question to the latest one.
She got a driver license.
Yeah, I have my,
Yeah.
I don't have an occupational, I have my regular driver's license.
I see. Thank you.
We got a motion and a
So we had a
second.
motion and a second. All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The aye have it. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Ms. Ruiz.
Sure. All right, we move on to item 26, 2022-05707, 2021-2023 new operator license, bartender Class D operator, application for Lori Braun, bartender 62. this person, the Lori, she did not appear either.
I didn't get one either.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Well, you guys try to tell that our clerk office doesn't function or what? I mean, I mean, to me.
Mr. Chair, if I may, there
Well,
has
let me
been some
finish
issues.
first. I mean, so what I hear tonight, that nobody's getting notices, why?
I have no idea. This is the only one I've gotten and I have in my hand.
Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Chair, what I was going to say is that would be a question for the clerk's office. If Rebecca had already noted that there were some issues, maybe that was one of them. So I would trust the applicant in saying that they didn't receive a notice, especially if there were two. So with that being said, you are here, and we are here to hear you. So, Mr. Chair, if you'd like to take the lead on that,
Sure.
Go for it.
So you have any records on your?
I got 2 DUIs. My last one was way back in 2021. Is that right? No, it was 2001. I'm sorry. The first one was when I had turned 21 and I was just young and stupid, and my second one, I was getting a divorce at the time. That was 21 years ago. I don't plan on getting any more. I got my temporary. I'm working right now at Erie O's, and that's the way I pay my mortgage.
So for all those years, you've been clear, right? No,
Yes,
no
yes.
records at all.
And I also have my Milwaukee's license, Macawan, Thiensville, and Greenfield.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Good luck
you for
to you,
coming in.
Lori.
Thank you.
Sure.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, we move on to item 27, 2022-0530, 2021-2023, new operator license pertains to Class D operator application for Alexandra Linderman, bartender 85. Did not appear either April 19 for the last license and health committee meeting. She's not here, right? So I think I'll move
But I would
for,
ask, Mr. Chair.
yes.
Was she one that didn't get a notice on the 19th as well as these other two earlier? We don't know.
We have copies of the earlier notices. We're using a new system, so if
Okay.
someone doesn't open their notification to their email, that would result in them not getting the notice,
Okay.
even though we sent it to them.
Okay.
So we're not
the
sending a hard copy?
responsibility is back on them.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're not, I mean, the clerk office is not responsible because you followed through, right?
Well, for this one specifically, I see April 13th and April 22nd.
Yeah.
So
Motion to deny.
Second.
All in favor of the motion of denial?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. So the motion has been denied it.
And that was based upon the record and non-appearance?
Yeah.
Not
Yep.
appearances, right?
Not appearance, yes.
Sorry, I didn't clarify.
Okay, now we go to item 28, 2022-0566, 2021-2023, new operator license pertaining to Class D operator application for Angelia Siebert. Want to come in forward, Angelia? Okay. So, you know why you're here for, right?
Yes,
To get a license, right?
correct.
You have any records in the past 2 years?
Yes, I got a OWI
When?
in October 13th.
This last year?
Yes, this last year.
Okay. Any questions from the committee members?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
but there's two, correct?
What do you mean?
Two OWIs?
No, just one.
Oh, I thought there were 2 dates that were on the,
No.
okay, my mistake, sorry. But your license was revoked,
Yes.
isn't it?
Yes,
Okay.
it is.
So how did you get here tonight?
Tammy.
Okay.
So any other questions from the committee?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Angela, being this is in October, what measures have you taken as far as rehabilitation? Have you been to court on this? Has it been resolved?
I have to court on June 6th and to get the dismissed, basically. And then I go to Justice Point every 2 weeks.
Okay. Are you under complete sobriety?
Yes.
Do you work? Will you be drinking at work?
No.
Okay. Those are my questions.
So any further questions from the committee members? on the motion?
No. Rosalie, do you have any questions?
I'm quite concerned about your past record. I have basically 2 OWIs, so I don't know where you're getting one.
No, there's one that is off my record that I got when I was 21, basically. So this is considered my first OWI.
There's the recent one was 22.
Yes, correct.
Right, and that's the one you said isn't?
No, the one way back when I was 23.
You're talking
It
about
was
the
like
one in,
91 or 92.
Basically,
wasn't it?
I would not.
Yeah.
And it was
That's when I
like,
got the 2. So I'm,
it's
Right.
off my,
Okay.
it's off my
Okay,
record. So this
Excuse
is
me,
considered-
go ahead,
sorry.
Cal.
Just to
Could you
clarify.
clarify that?
Certainly. So what she's saying is, for the purposes of counting, she's under a first offense OWI, which is a second civil offense. The prior one was more than 10 years ago. It was 2003. So she's correct in saying this is a first offense by law. In her lifetime, it'd be her second one,
Right.
though. But the earlier one does not count against her legally because there's a 10-year gap.
It's been too long, I mean, really.
What about the one in 2021?
That's the one she's referencing. I think you said
Well, that's the
October,
one you're
but
referencing.
it was 2022 is on our record. I'm not sure what it is, but it's the only one that I'm
That
aware of.
happens in October, right?
I basically wouldn't be for this license. I would like to see you maybe in a year to see how you do, but I'm quite concerned about
There's a big gap
OWIs that
between
you
the
have.
first one to the second one.
Right.
Yeah, if she, I mean, if she had,
I take care of my mother, so.
yeah, if she had a, like I say, a pattern of records, you know, I mean, within, say, 2 years time frame, well, then I'd be more skeptical about it. If it is just one occurrence, because we can really look back 10 years ago, you know, I'm not gonna, to me, I mean, I don't think it's right for us to go back that far. So what happened is, I understand it's been a little short time, but the fact stands that if it was more situation where she got stopped already a couple more times or 3, at least 2 times, then I'd be voting against it really to give her license. But this, I think, that's one occasion that she made a mistake, you know. So, and I hope it, you know, follow through on that, you know, again, because it's not a good thing, you know.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, go ahead.
If I may, Cale, could you offer some insight to this? Now, when you're charged with an OWI, you're not convicted as of yet on her record, correct? So right now, this is a charge. I'm kind of going somewhere with it. To say that you're convicted of it when you haven't been yet isn't necessarily true. You are going through the motions that would be required as a result of the charge, which would be abstinence from alcohol. I'm sure you have to check into Justice Point, all those other things. So,
Every 2 weeks, and then she got the
yeah, so based on what we are required to do if we're looking for reasonable rehabilitation, I think you're meeting those requirements. I guess that's where I'm going with it. But Cale, can you offer some insight so I have some reference point when this is not a done deal in court yet? And that's my question.
So there are 2 separate charges here, as you saw. There was the actual OWI and then the cocaine deferred prosecution. So the January 5th of 2022 must have been some sort of administrative thing that occurred to the DOT. The offense occurred in October, you said?
Yes,
Were you convicted in January?
I'm still going to court.
Were you
For
administrative?
OWI?
Yes.
And then
Correct.
that's finalized.
So the OWI has already been, is there
Finalized,
is a
yes.
conviction
And
there,
then
the
this-
revocation,
yes.
is all that, so the
Okay, that's the
OWI is
clarity.
done.
Yes.
Okay.
The other one is a pending case that would be dismissed as a result of deferred prosecution. So that's the one that's not final. That's
Okay.
the one that's
And
pending.
that's June 6th.
Okay.
So the
To get
OWI,
dismissed, more or less.
correct. If she complies with the terms of whatever the arrangement was with the prosecutor, that one would be dismissed. The OWI, though, there is a conviction on that one, so that is not a pending charge anymore.
Okay. All right.
So, any further questions of the members on the motion?
We don't have a motion yet.
Well, that's what I'm looking for. Deny it
Motion to
or
approve, Mr. Chair.
Second.
all in favor of the motion to approve?
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it. One knows.
4-1.
4-1. 4-1.
Thank you.
Good luck to you.
Thank you.
But I don't want to see you again, you know?
No, I don't need to. Not bad. Maybe outside.
Okay. Chairman, I make a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor of the motion to adjourn?
Aye.
Oppose? The ayes have it.
There you go. You got past the Rosalie.
I gotta do like the mayor does.
Yeah.
Can you pass that over to Rosalie, please?
What you want to do? You gonna hit him over the head?
Well, I would, possibly, but I think we're gonna keep this party going.
Yeah, the poor sound guys in there. He's jumping
Right, exactly.
every time.
Advisory come to order. Let the minutes reflect all members are present. First on the agenda is number 29, Division Ordinance. To adjust ward boundaries in compliance with Wisconsin statutes. And I'm hoping this is probably the last time for Attorney Decker to accomplish this task.
I hope so as well, Madam Chair. I'm coming before you because we are proposing, at least asking the council to adopt the third iteration of ward maps for the city, I believe, in the last month and a half. So, if you see on the screen here, what I've done is I've had to redraw based upon divisions that were made by the state when the Supreme Court made a ruling, as well as now I've divided up because the county is unable to program more than one vote counting machine per ward. And several of the wards that we combined the last meeting resulted in very large numbers, which would likely cause backups during busy elections because everyone would be waiting to put their ballots in the same machine. We didn't want that to be the pinch point in the process. So to make administrations run a little more, elections to run a little more efficiently and prevent that backlog, the proposal is to cut up some of those bigger districts. What this also does is it allows us to assign polling places in, I think, a little more logical way as well, because we can split those groups up and send them to new locations. So tonight what I'm showing you is the proposed map that we would send to the county this week and have uploaded. The other thing is the prior map, and this is my fault for making this mistake, but the prior map did not have this little tiny ward right here. And that's because
Put my glasses on for the little tiny word.
it's that tiny. So in my version, I had this line, the county line, going here and down. But in fact, the county line cuts back to Beloit and then heads south. This is our aldermanic line dividing 2 and 4. This is the county line, and this is the assembly line. So it created this little tiny spot when the state did that.
Well,
So,
tell the county to straighten it. It's tacked up.
you know, the county actually wasn't that bad compared to the state. So they're getting the benefit of that. But anyway, so by doing this, it actually divvies up people a little bit more. It actually allows us to relieve the pressure off of Central. Central is a polling place, but it's not great for parking. It's busy. It's a high school. So actually only 2 wards are assigned to Central to take the pressure off of that location. It also actually adds a few more to Mother Perpetual Help, which is a great polling location based upon its abundant parking and configuration with its gymnasium. So that church right there is a nice location. So we added Ward 24 to that location, as well as this little sliver right here, N21. So these 3 will go there. Those are the 2 smaller polling places. The rest are about average, except for Frank Lloyd Wright has these 3 districts, or these 3 wards, which is a lot of people, but it's about 8,000 right now. And then these 4 wards right here will go to City Hall, which is the largest one, at about 9,400 constituents. That's people, not voters. So it's actually probably more like 8,000 people who are over 18. So those are the larger ones. And then you'll see in Aldermanic District 1, even though 1, 2, 3, and 4 are always going to be the same ballot, it was just too many people to have in one ward, and also to send necessarily to one polling place. So 1 and 2, 1 is scheduled to go to the senior center. 2 is actually scheduled to go to the library. That was a tricky one where we just had nowhere to put
Right.
Ward 2. There were no polling places nearby at all, and I couldn't arrange it without making a weird like sliver of property. Ward 3 would actually go to the rec center as well as Ward 4. And I mean, if you want to know my thought process, folks who live right here, it's not many, but there's a few, they would be able to jump on Beecher here and take that street down to get to the rec center. So I thought that would be a convenient way for them to do it. Those are really the significant changes. We had to divide up District 5 a little bit differently. So these two got split up, and now actually Hale is no longer the largest one. It only serves about 7,000 people. The other thing that is very much in the spirit of what's happening, if you look very closely, the area in between the north and southbound lanes of I-894 from the railroad to Lincoln is its own ward, technically, or it should be its own ward, because the way the state drew the line was on the opposite side of the highways where we drew our aldermanic district line. So it created this little tiny sliver that's all by itself.
But nobody lives there.
Yes.
No one lives there. So what I'm proposing is that the aldermanic line will actually move to the opposite side of the highway.
Yeah.
It's not going to make a difference for voters. It'll clean up the lines, and it will prevent us from having a separate ward that is nobody.
Yeah.
That's not 101st Street then.
No. So 101st Street is up here, and that one is one that, based upon the line drawn by the State Assembly and Senate, the Supreme Court ruling, put that line right down 101st Street,
Okay.
creating a single census block ward right here.
Okay.
So they're the only people who are going to have the ballot, and it's about 440 people.
Okay.
There's about 160 people who live here. So there'll be some small wards, but there's nothing we can do about it because of the way the lines are drawn. 26 total wards. Any questions on this?
So shrinking it down.
One of those districts has 104, 104 people only.
District Ward 22 is only going to have 160 total people living there. I think it's 140 voters over 18, which means we're probably going to get 70 people, 70 ballots there, of which half of them might vote absentee. It's going with Mother Perpetual Help, so at least the polling place won't be super quiet because they'll have two other groups coming in. But it'll be a surprise when someone needs a Ward 22 ballot.
So when we did all that effort to take it down to like 18 wards, that's just back out the door, huh?
Yes. And it was because, although it was great for efficiency, for the packets and for everything on the election side of things, at the polling locations, it would create a backlog. Because you'd have thousands of people backing up trying to get their ballots into the single machine. It would, during busy times, the line would not be out the door to register. The line would be in the polling place, fighting to see who can get their ballot in.
It's only take 5 seconds to put that through the machine.
It should, in theory, but it still is one of those things where, because the city of Milwaukee can't have more than 4,000 people in a ward, and that's the highest in the state. The idea is that you don't want to back people up in any circumstances inside the polling place like that. For security reasons, for efficiency reasons, you just don't want that to be a possibility. So the smart thing to do is to keep it around 4,000. That's what we've done here.
It was mostly because they wouldn't program one more machine for us.
If we could get a second machine, we would have stuck with the old one, but we couldn't get a second machine from the county programmed. So this is the way that we solve that issue. This does create easier polling locations, polling location assignment. So if you'll see here, these are the number of people in each ward now, and this is how many people are dedicated to each polling location. This is just percentage of the city at each polling location. So it's actually pretty evenly balanced now, whereas even on that 18 ward thing that we did, it was going to be a little skewed. Some places are going to be very heavy, some will be very light. Now it's a little more balanced. So took advantage of the extra divisions to balance folks out.
Okay. Motion to approve.
Second.
Did I hear the echo?
Thank you for all your efforts.
Yeah, thanks.
On the motion,
Motion to approve.
Aye.
moved and seconded. Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Carried. And we have number 30, resolution of recognition of the Conrad
Move
Gardens
approval.
Second.
Association. It's
I
been
don't want to hear that again, you know. I mean,
Well, you're going to hear it again, Vince. Madam Chair, may I second the recognition
Grisham.
of our
You
Conrad
have the
Gardens
floor.
Neighborhood Association. I want to publicly thank Alderwoman Keene and all those that have come together in our community to see this association come to fruition. And I also want to give us a little bit of a nod that we are one association away from being the first district with a full neighborhood association, and we're working on that. So, for us, yep.
Oh, congratulations.
Exactly, but now based on the maps, we may have another one added. So my vote is an absolute yes.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Oh, we have number 31, reappointment of Mayor Devine of David Rushka,
Move to
Kathleen Dagenhart, and Ben Holt as alternate.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Move to
Carried.
adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good job.
Happy job with you.